Today on Investigate TV Plus, online predators threatening children and teens, and it sometimes ends in tragedy. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. A father who lost his son to online exploitation shares his story in the hopes of saving a life. Plus,
I just got in a really dark place.
we break down the signs your child may be struggling with their mental health and where you can turn for help.
Then pups poisoned and their unsuspecting owners wondering how.
It always seemed to happen right after we took her for a walk.
We uncover the reason and the symptoms to know.
And a young hockey player overcomes unthinkable odds off the ice to reach his Olympic goal.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus. Law enforcement warns sextortion scams involving teens are on the rise, even causing some young victims to take their own lives. But a lack of funding and resources often keep criminals ahead of investigators who are already stretched thin.
According to the U.S. Department of Justice, more than a dozen sextortion victims died by suicide in 2022. 17-year-old Walker Montgomery took his own life one night after a random encounter on Instagram. Investigator Carice Jackman spoke with Walker's father, who wants to share his son's story with the hope of helping other parents. We do want to warn you, there is a discussion of suicide in this story.
A star athlete with a constant smile on his face
He was just always rough and tough, but he was always polite.
is the best way Brian Montgomery remembers his son, Walker. Walker shined on and off the field, but the special light in Walker's 16-year-old life was dimmed because of what happened online.
Walker died as a result from suicide, as a result from the pressures brought on by sextortion.
Montgomery says Walker was approached online by someone pretending to be a teenage girl. Eventually, the pretend teen got him to participate in a sexual act using video chat.
Well, all the time, Walker didn't know it, but he was being recorded. They come back and said, okay, you're going to give us $1,000, we're going to send this to everybody that you know. And Walker tells them, I'm going to kill myself. And these people respond with, go ahead, because you're already dead anyway.
How long was the exchange between this person and Walker?
It was that single night, one night. They were able to track the perpetrators to Nigeria, and they were able to send a subpoena to Instagram, figure out where that IP address originated from.
According to the FBI and Homeland Security investigations, there's been a rise of incidents like Walker's, where children and teens are being coerced into sending sexually explicit images or videos online and then extorted for money, a crime known as financial sextortion. Law enforcement received over 7,000 reports over the past year of online financial sextortion of minors, with at least 3,000 victims, most of them boys.
I mean, sadly, we know of numerous instances where children have taken their own life because the pressure and the fear of embarrassment and exposure is so great that they have seen no other alternative other than suicide, which is extremely tragic.
Mike Prado is Deputy Assistant Director of the Homeland Security Investigations Cybercrime Center. The FBI and HSI work together and split their responsibilities. The agencies found most extortion criminals originate in Nigeria and the Ivory Coast.
We're working collaboratively to identify organizations and individuals who are perpetuating this crime against children, not just in the United States, but around the world.
In the United States, HSI partners with 61 Internet Crimes Against Children task forces from coast to coast. The task force agencies say they receive thousands of cyber tips a year. But when it comes to actually tracking which cases are sextortion by number, we've uncovered most agencies don't have those statistics. Despite the rise in this cyber crime, one agency after another told us they don't have a state statute or criminal code that deals specifically with sextortion. And while a handful of states do provide sextortion state statutes, there's no national law specifically for sextortion, and not all states get the same funding for investigating cases.
While we do get federal funding through that, we also are extremely thankful that we also get state funding here in Washington State.
Sergeant Brandon James is head of the ICAC task force in Seattle, Washington. He took us exclusively inside their task force facility.
I have about 7 detectives, but we cover just normal ICAC investigations. I also have a detective who just does criminal intelligence.
Like many agencies, the Seattle task force noticed a sharp increase over the last year, tied to online crimes targeting children.
Investigating these kind of crimes isn't your typical law enforcement investigation.
He says his team works hard not only to investigate sextortion, but to educate parents, teachers, students, and even people in law enforcement.
I've been trying to do as much as we can, getting the message out to the officers that are responding to these suicides to say, hey, if you're responding to a teen suicide, you might want to think about collecting some digital evidence, particularly their cell phone.
Montgomery uses his son's tragedy to alert people across the country. He plans to travel to Washington, D.C. and testify before Congress to continue to share Walker's story.
If one person sees this, 10 people see this, and the things we're doing, and it changes somebody else, that's a win.
We reached out to Instagram for their response, but never heard back. If you are a teen or parent and feel like you have encountered a sextortion scheme, you can call the FBI's tip line at 1-800-CALL-FBI. You can also go to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's website and file a report.
The teen years are a stressful time. According to Johns Hopkins University, a teenager's strong feelings of confusion, fear, and doubt may seem too embarrassing for them to overcome. We examine teen mental health, including the signs something may be wrong and the help that's available for your child.
Mental health is just something that people really only feel comfortable with listening about whenever they hear that it's over.
Wilmington, North Carolina high school student Chris Foster says she was once in a constant battle with her mental health. Her mom, Evelyn, says her daughter has dealt with depression since middle school.
She's asleep, fully asleep, and tears are running down her eyes. And I'm like, we've got to get her some help.
According to the National Institute of Mental Health, other warning signs parents should look for include a loss of interest in things they used to enjoy, self-harm behaviors such as cutting or burning their skin, frequent stomach aches or headaches with no known medical cause, and academic struggles or a recent decline in grades.
I just got in a really dark place.
In the fall of 2021, the American Academy of Pediatrics found between 2010 and 2020, childhood mental health concerns and suicide rose steadily. And by 2018, suicide was the second leading cause of death for youth ages 10 to 24. Doug Engelman with the National Alliance of Mental Illness, or NAMI, wants parents to know that mental health is just as important as physical health.
I talk about trying to normalize mental health issues, mental disorders, diagnoses, because it's so common now, and especially post-COVID, we're looking at, 50-60% of students in high schools and colleges are, dealing with these disorders.
Chris's mother says she found a psychiatrist for her daughter, and eventually those resources made a difference. As for Chris, she uses her love of tennis to help her deal with her challenges, and she's making every effort to raise awareness so other teens know it's okay to get help.
Mental health is something that is very important and needs to be talked about right now.
If you or someone you know is struggling with thoughts of suicide, call or text the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988.
Coming up, unsuspecting dog owners tell a similar story.
Kind of losing her balance, couldn't hold her bladder.
The veterinarian's diagnosis left this pet parent in shock.
She looks and says, well, you know what? Your dog's high.
We reveal why vets are seeing more and more pooches on pot and what you can do to protect your four-legged friend. Dog owners know their pets love to nose around, but that nosiness is becoming a problem in states with legalized marijuana.
According to the American Veterinary Medical Association, more dogs are getting sick after eating pot products that have been dropped on the ground. That's because dogs process THC, the substance that makes humans high, differently.
We examine this growing danger for dog owners and what you can do to keep your pet safe.
Good girl.
Troy Piedenbrink loves taking his dog Princess on walks around their Washington, D.C. neighborhood.
Oh, she's our fur baby. I mean, we consider her our child.
But shortly after adopting her in July 2020, a terrifying episode when they returned home one evening. He says Princess wasn't acting like herself.
Kind of losing her balance, couldn't hold her bladder. Then all of a sudden she'd get bursts of energies and start to do zoomies.
Piedenbrink watched her closely for a few days, but it kept happening.
It always seemed to happen right after we took her for a walk. That's when we really got nervous and called the vet.
The vet asked Piedenbrink to describe Princess's symptoms, and then she delivered some shocking news.
She looks at me and says, well, you know what? Your dog's high. And I said, what do you mean high? I'm like, we don't do that. We don't have it in the house, anything like that.
Piedenbrink says the vet wasn't at all surprised.
She said it's super common now that it's legal for dogs to find it on the street. She says, and it doesn't take really much. She actually said we were like the 5th dog that day.
Nationwide, between 2018 and 2022, the Pet Poison Helpline reported a 735% increase in marijuana toxicity calls. The ASPCA's Animal Poison Control Hotline has also seen a surge in calls. They fielded nearly 7,000 in 2022, an 11% jump from the previous year.
A state that has just legalized it, we tend to see a pretty big jump that year.
Dr. Tina Wismer, medical director of the ASPCA's Animal Poison Control Center, says many toxicity events stem from household exposures to marijuana products. But it doesn't stop there.
If they are discarded on the street, dogs will eat them.
What are they getting into the most?
It's mostly edibles, a lot of chocolate-based products.
She says there are some telltale symptoms to look out for.
They're wobbly, like they're drunk. They overreact when you stimulate them or reach for them. They back way off, and they dribble urine.
While federal law prohibits marijuana possession, 23 states and Washington, D.C. have approved its use recreationally, and even more allow it for medical reasons.
We are seeing an increase in the number of marijuana toxicities that come in, and I am as well seeing more severe cases where they have more complicated signs and they're in the hospital longer.
Dr. Nastasia Germain is an emergency vet in Washington, D.C. She says on average, she treats between 10 to 15 marijuana toxicosis cases each month.
It can be quite alarming because people often believe their pet may have had a stroke because it can look like that similar, and the pets obviously can't say what they're feeling.
Fortunately, Dr. Germain says lasting side effects are uncommon. Factors like dosage and the animal's size impact recovery.
The longest I've had a dog hospitalized is about 36 hours because it got into a large amount of edibles. Because often if we get to them early, we can induce vomiting, and that's less treatment and the dogs get better faster.
Who's responsible for keeping the animal safe?
So the responsibility lies with the pet owner, right? If you have these items in your household, treat them like medications. Keep them away and out of the reach of your pets. And when you're in public, right, keep your dog on a leash, watch what they're doing so that they're not picking up or eating things.
We were really worried.
Fortunately, Princess made a full recovery. But Troy Piedenbrink says it was a scary ordeal.
And the worst part is she can't tell us what's wrong or how she's feeling.
Today, he's much more aware of where he walks Princess. But he says everyone needs to do their part.
I know human nature is oftentimes, even with cigarette butts, people just discard them on the ground. But there are consequences to that, unfortunately.
The ASPCA encourages owners who suspect their pet may have ingested or been exposed to marijuana or THC to contact its Animal Poison Control Center or a veterinarian. The veterinarians we spoke to also recommend limiting off-leash walks with their pets or using a basket muzzle to keep a dog from scavenging on walks.
Animals are forever friends to millions of people, but do they provide more than creature comfort? Up next, the medical Mythbuster examines the power pets can have on your health. Then later,
early on it was kind of a struggle, of course, being different from the other kids and stuff like that.
this young hockey player shows why he's an inspiration on the ice.
Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to Investigate TV Plus on all social media platforms. A 2018 study by the National Institutes of Health found an estimated 68% of U.S. households have some type of pet. Many owners describe their pet as members of the family, but some studies suggest they can also provide a health-boosting benefit.
And this medical myth buster, Viv Williams, talks to a Mayo Clinic doctor about the perks of pet ownership and how it can come from any living creature.
It's no myth that pets make people feel better.
There's a surge of feel-good hormones, prolactin, serotonin, epinephrine. These are the hormones that make us feel good and needed and wanted.
Dr. Edward Cragen, a Mayo Clinic oncologist, says what is a myth is the idea that only pets you can physically hold offer any physical or mental health benefits. Check out this study published in the journal Alzheimer's Disease and Associated Diseases. Results show that a fish tank in the room helped Alzheimer's disease patients eat better.
Portable aquariums were taken into a nursing home, and the patients who ate in the presence of the aquarium had more muscles and better appetite than people who ate by themselves.
Cragen says even a fish can give someone a sense of belonging, purpose, and a reason to get up and out of bed. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention notes that other health benefits of pets include lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol levels, and better management of depression.
One dog 3 times a day.
Cragen has seen how pets help his patients time and time again.
I have to get home and see Rex. Rex needs me. We thought Rex was a wife, partner, uncle, friend. Rex was a 95-pound German Shepherd cross. Rex was the reason, the catalyst, the alchemy to give him the power to get better.
With this medical mythbuster, I'm Viv Williams.
Well, we've had a dog, a cat, a fish. Who knew the fish was helping at all?
I've never put fish tanks all around my house or something. But
there's benefit.
I'm going to mention my dog's name, Maple.
Yes.
Maple makes me happy, so I get it. Mention your dog's name. Come on.
Louie.
Okay, Louie.
Louie.
I know we've mentioned our dogs before, and she never mentions Louie's name. So
there you go.
There you go, Louie. You got some TV time.
Yeah. Well, up next, a young man born in China with spina bifida faced unimaginable odds growing up. But he wasn't about to put his Olympic dreams on ice.
The sport has changed my life. It has given me a lot of motivation just to, physically be my best every single day.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime streaming online. Get the app for Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. They're free to download.
An athlete in Ohio skated an unlikely path to represent Team USA in the 2026 Paralympics.
Ben Musselman was born with spina bifida in China, then adopted at the age of 2. He had the drive to make the most of his life despite his condition.
Reporter Jeremy Roush is in Cincinnati to show us how he became an inspiration on the ice.
I'm going to do a handstand challenge. I'm going to go down the stairwell.
This is Ben Musselman, and this is why Ben is the muscle man of the family.
We've always marveled at his ease and his confidence.
He's so confident, he makes this challenge look easy, even if life has never been easy for Ben.
He has always been an overcomer, and I know that sounds very cliche, but it's his mindset.
Mom would know. It's a mindset that Ben adopted since the day they adopted him at 2 years old. A day that Dad still gets emotional thinking about.
Immediately said Baba, which means Papa. And the Chinese people were like, oh my gosh, he called him Papa. But then from that moment, he would not leave me.
Connected to the Musselman family from day one, They knew Ben would one day do something great. It's more than just this video. Did you notice something? Ben isn't using his legs. Born with spina bifida and with no feeling below his waist, Ben kept taking steps to prove to everyone that he would overcome everything.
Really early on, it was kind of a struggle, of course, you know, being different from the other kids and stuff like that. But as you get older, just kind of forcing your way into like a regular kind of way of life and stuff like that, you just get used to it and it just becomes every day.
This is now Ben's everyday life. Years removed from that video of him on the stairs, he is strapping in for his next big skate with Team USA. Helmet on and hockey ready, Ben picked up sled hockey when he was 13, and like everything else, they knew he was different his first time on the ice.
And he was on for just seconds, and they said, get up there. So he was immediately, and he was probably at that time already the second or third fastest guy on the ice and first day in the sled.
It all happened so fast, just like Ben, who relies on his speed as one of the fastest sled hockey players in the world.
The sport has changed my life. It has given me a lot of motivation just to, you know, physically be my best every single day.
And this is where he skates at a local hockey rink to stay in shape. But his role on Team USA took shape right away with 4 goals in his first 5 international games. Now, he is tracking towards the 2026 Winter Paralympics.
You just kind of use that as motivation to train every day, and, you know, it keeps you from getting lazy. Because I mean, I see how those other guys, how winning that medal and everything has just changed their life, and, you know, how appreciative they are of that, and it's just, it's motivating, definitely.
And that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm T. Chappelle.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Thanks for watching.
Next time on Investigate TV Plus, rechargeable batteries are powering more and more of our lives, but experts say if not handled properly, explosions and fires could occur.
So the risk is real.
We have an in-depth look at research underway to better understand why lithium batteries ignite.